Hi everyone. Today let's take a look at Apple and their most recent upgrade. Then we'll take a look at their earnings, and then we'll look at all of their charts and some potential options plays. If you like trading stocks and options and making money, definitely like and subscribe. I make videos like this every single day that the markets are open as well as Sundays, so make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. So Apple got upgraded by Bank of America, and Apple's really been on a bit of a tough streak. They mentioned here investors have not been excited about demand for iPhones. They continue to see weak demand this year, and it's really been one of the weaker stocks in the Magnificent Seven. We talk about Microsoft and Nvidia going higher seemingly every day, Meta as well as Google also doing well, but Apple has really lagged similarly to Tesla. But over the last week, they did start to play a little bit of catch up after the Bank of America upgrade, and they did cite things like the new Apple VR product. And they do mention here that they expect Apple to outperform in terms of iPhone shipments, with 231 million iPhones to be shipped in 2024, and then 244 million in fiscal year 25, which is an absolutely massive number. Current consensus is around 204 and 211 for the same years, so that would be a massive beat, and that could drive Apple much, much higher. They also raised their price target to $225 from $208, and the stock is currently trading below $200, so that would give you a massive amount of upside on an already very large stock. And then they do mention that Apple VR Pro expected to launch on 1 February. It's very expensive, and I'm not really sure that the demand is going to be there. I know Apple has its kind of cult following, but I think it'll be interesting to see if that follows through on those initial sales numbers. And then they mention here AI strategy potentially being a factor going forward, and their price target here at Ritz's is $222 for the stock. So still some bulls out there for Apple, and it seems to be making some gains based on that analysis. And then looking at some of the bear case, they're going to point to the fact that revenues declined here 2.8% in 2023. In 22, it was up to $394 billion, which was a 7% growth. So we didn't decline that much, but it's not great to see that it is actually declining. And you can see that here. Peak revenues were in third quarter of 2022 at $90 billion. On a rolling 12-month basis. And then so far over the last 4 quarters, you can see that it has declined, which is not great. And moving over to the charts for reference, this is the Mag 7. On the daily chart, you can see all of the Mag 7 divided by 7, so it's the average. It is price weighted, which is a little bit off. I might try to adjust that going forward, but for now, this is what I have, and you can see it's in a consistent uptrend. We broke this trend line here, which had marked resistance here in October, as well as November, and then again in December. So we've broken out. Next trend line sitting at 221, so you have a little bit of room to the upside. We are overbought, momentum bullish, and you can see the most traded zone is down here at 189. So everything continues to be bullish on these stocks. I think Nvidia is really driving this the most, but really everything besides Tesla has been rallying recently. Moving over to Apple, on the daily chart, you can see it is much less bullish. We've been consolidating between the highs here from 31 July. We tested that same level here in December of 23. And then the lows here most recently were down in October of 23. And then we did establish a slightly higher low here at the 200 SMA. And then we've broken out above this downtrend line. And then in terms of trend resistance, that would be up around 203, 204, potentially all the way up to 205 if you overthrew it just a little bit to that major trend. But this does look quite bullish. And you can see it here at that 200. We talked about it when we got into this zone. And you can see very strong divergence on that retest of the 200, so we rallied out of it. Strong movement on RSI, pulled back, same price level as the previous dip low. RSI much stronger, and then it rallied super aggressively out of that area. And so far, this rally has been continuing off of that upgrade by analysts, and it does seem like we're going to be able to continue higher here. And then moving over to my other charts where I have my horizontal levels, you can see I do have a level here at 193.96, or right in that 194 area. You can see that same downtrend line, the clear break here. But in terms of levels, we're above the highly traded zone, 194, and then your all-time high in the same zone around 197. And then if we break all of those levels, like I mentioned, up into that 205 zone would be my price target. And then looking at the weekly chart here on the TastyCharts, you can see we're right at that first ATR band to the upside. If that level breaks, then you're looking for a push to that second ATR band, which is basically at $200. First upper band currently sitting at 191.70, second upper band at 199.67, which is basically at those wick highs. And then your third ATR band is up at 207.65, which would require an overthrow of that trend line that we talked about. Does look strong though. Let's go ahead and look at this on the daily chart. So here on the daily, you can see that double bottom right at the 200 that we were talking about. This is the 144 EMA, but it's right in that same zone. Double bottomed at that level, got to oversold conditions, and then touched that third ATR band to the downside, and that marked the bottom. And then you could see volume starting to roll up here. We're seeing that on the MACD as well as price action. Again, right at that first ATR band. The concerning part here is that we did see these ATR levels start to roll over into bearish conditions, which is not great. You're starting to see them flatten out now on the daily chart with those two bigger up moves. And then that third ATR band to the upside on the daily chart is sitting up around that 198.38 area, which again does give you quite a bit of upside. That's about $7 higher from current prices, which would be a nice little move here on Apple, which does correlate with the other charts as well. Moving over to potential trades here. Looking at the money puts, they're about $1.12 right now. Not a great return on a $190 stock. That's a little bit less than a 1% return, but you can see the stock is actually trading up around 191. So you're already $1 out of the money on that. And then looking at the 192s, that's where you're getting about that 1% return. That's about average for a stock like this. And there's plenty of volume here. If you are really bullish though, you could get into a covered call. You could get about 72 cents here for a 195, which would give you about a 2% potential profit while still collecting a little bit of credit. It is worth noting that you do have earnings here after hours on 1 February. So be aware of that if you're looking to trade this in the medium term. And then if you are trying to get out to that 200 level, going a couple of weeks out does make sense. If you do decide to go with the medium terms out to 19 days, you do have a 9 February expiration. You could sell those 200s for about $1.40. So that gives you a pretty decent return. If you're already long the stock and you're looking to get out around those all-time highs, that's a pretty good opportunity. Again, that would take a couple of weeks and that would also roll over the earnings. So there is a little bit of risk there that you do have to factor in. Otherwise, if you're looking to just get into the stock at current prices, but still collect a little bit of credit, the at the money puts are about $3.50. So you'd be effectively buying the stock down at 186.50. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of Apple. Are they going to break out and continue higher up into that 205 range? Or are they going to top out at a triple top at the all-time highs? Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.